The Dharma is vast and subtle.
The Dharma is vast and subtle.
We now have a chance to see this.
We now have a chance to see this.
And practice this.
Study this and practice this.
May we realize its true meaning.
May we realize its true meaning. Okay, welcome. Yesterday we looked at, we started to look at this very foundational Zen text called the Bodhidharma's Emptiness. And I've been studying this just more recently because I'm fascinated by this term that you can find in it called merit. And when I practice calligraphy, I keep on coming across this particular Chinese character. You can see this second one here, Doku. I keep coming across it and I'm trying to understand it. And one of the best ways for me to try to understand something or deepen my understanding of it is to give a talk about it. I don't know enough about it, so I'm giving a little talk so I can help to, get it in there and understand it a little bit more deeply. So we're going to look at this concept merit that's found in this particular case called Bodhidharma's emptiness. And we went over the story yesterday, right? Bodhidharma has done all these Emperor Wu has done all of these great things for Buddhism, and he goes to Bodhidharma and asks him what is the merit in doing these things. And Bodhidharma basically tells him there's no merit in it. Mu Kudoku. So this is Kudoku. And the overall point of one of the overarching points is to not do practice for the sake of attaining something, right? Emperor Wu's fault, at least on the surface, is that he was expecting something out of his practice. And Bodhidharma basically negs that. And, but what is Kudoku? What is we still believe when we recite sutras that we're generating merit and then we are sending it out into the universe. So it can't be for nothing. We came to practice. I mean, I think we would all be pretty disappointed if we came to practice and we didn't get some results. We want something to happen, and we have that expectation is pretty strong in us. So let's look at this a little bit more closely. Is there nothing to be gained from practice? I really think nobody would practice if there was nothing to be gained from it. You could even gain something from giving things away without expectation. Having no expectation for your practice is itself a gain. That's a gain. So is there really nothing there? It seems like there's, we should. And then we just get, if we really think there's nothing to practice, we just go down this little circle of depression and be like, oh yes, this life, oh, woe is me. That's not it either, right? There's got to be something gained from practice, right? There's got to be something gained from nothing. It's another way to think about it. Harada Seke Roshi says, nothing is better than something good. So you see that too. You see the two ways of thinking about it. Yeah. Nothing is better nothing is better than something good. Or we think nothing is better than something good. Our usual view is the second. Nothing is better than something good. But the Zen view is nothing is better than something good. Every moment is something really good happening, but we often miss it. So this idea of merit, again, we're working with translations. This is the problem. And I don't even know if merit is if Kudoku is the right translation, is what's being translated here, because I don't have access to the original Chinese. I'm investigating this, actually. I asked one of my friends, Japanese priest, a few days ago, and he hasn't gotten back to me, so I can't, I just have to relinquish my desire to know this. But the word Kudoku is translated as merit. It could also mean virtue. That I'm sure, the Kudoku has been translated as merit and virtue, but I'm wondering if it has also been translated into the word holy. I don't know. I don't know yet. So I'm investigating that, because in the story, Bodhidharma says, what's the highest meaning of the holy truths? And Bodhidharma says, in one version, he says, there's nothing holy. Is what he's saying, is it this word? Is Mukudoku mean nothing holy? I don't know. But in any case, the word merit conjures up something in English, and whether that is accurate to the original is a question that I have in my mind. Certainly the word holy conjures up something in English, especially amongst Americans, non-Asian. We have this idea of what holy is. And is that accurate? Is that what is being said here? So I want to investigate. I want to investigate this word Kudoku. Kudoku. Almost sounds like kudos. Kudos to you, right? We think of it, there's some relationship there, maybe.
Kudoku sounds like a candy bar.
Yeah, right? Sounds like so what is it? Sukudoku? Sudoku, right? Kudoku. All right. So, why does this, one question I have, why does an emperor want to know what the merit is in his doing this? Why does Bodhidharma want to know what merit there is to his activities? It seems kind of maybe a strange thing that an emperor would want to go to no emperor is going to come to me and ask me about his merit, So it seems like a kind of a strange thing to ask in some ways. And a lot of folks, when they come to meditate, it's interesting, they're not explicit, but they're looking for they have the same question. What is the merit? We come to Zazen with the same question. What merit is there for me in doing this practice? But most people tend to be real shifty about asking it directly like that. They might ask it like indirectly. So my teacher had just a couple of times she mentioned the difficulty for Americans in understanding this concept of merit, non-Asians in understanding this concept of merit. Again, every time we recite an echo in the chants, we're dedicating merit. But does that make any sense to anybody? Does it, anyways, it's something to think about or chew on. You don't have to answer that, but every time we chant the robe verse, yeah. How does that go? How great the formless field of merit. Yeah, a formless field of merit. This word comes up again and again, and yet Bodhidharma says there's no merit. Doesn't that seem like a bit of a contradiction? There's two things happening, right? There's our big self coming to practice, which doesn't need merit. And then there's the little self that is definitely wanting merit. Maybe that helps to explain this a little bit, but one of the ways my teacher, the image that my teacher used for merit, she said, it's like a Christmas tree light, the lights on a Christmas tree. When you send out the merit, it's like lighting up the Christmas tree. And I've been playing around with that imagery a little bit myself. I don't know if this was her intention with it or not, but my feeling, my sense is that when you send out merit, it lights up the Dharma, just like the lights of a Christmas tree light up the tree. And it makes the ordinary extraordinary. It makes the ordinary extraordinary. So when we send out merit, we're highlighting the Dharma. We're a formless, by putting on the robe, right? We just mentioned about the robe and the robe verse. When we're saying that the robe is a formless field of merit, we're highlighting the robe. It's ordinary, it's just a piece of cloth. It's just a piece of worn cloth that's been sewn together. That's all it is, right? But we are demonstrating this is valuable. This ordinary thing is as valuable as gold. Bhagavad Gita says to see all things, whether it's a nugget of gold or a clod of earth, as of equal value. That's what we're practicing to do. Everything is of value, but we don't usually see it. We make distinctions. This is better than this. That's what we're doing all the time. We're evaluating it. And when we evaluate collectively, it determines what we can do, right? If you have a lot of money, then you can do a bunch of things with that, compared to if you don't have a lot of money, you can't do as much. So there's some real consequences to our discriminating mind. And at the same time, we live in this world where all things are equal, the pauper and the wealthy person, the homeless person and the one who lives in the kingdom. So one way to think about merit is it's kind of like electricity that enters into a light bulb, right? And when we send out the merit, that electricity it's like that electricity going through the Christmas tree light, lighting it up. Ritual generates merit. That's what we believe. I don't know if it's a belief, but we're trying to get our minds wrapped around it. I don't know if I believe it. It's not like if you don't believe it, you're not Buddhist. So that's what there's a little distinction there. What we're doing is generating merit when we're chanting the sutra. When we're doing Zazen, we're generating merit. We're generating merit by sitting. That's what we're doing. It seems almost intangible. It's not like, and this is maybe something that distinguishes it from a Western idea of merit. You get your merit badge. There's all kinds of ideas of what merit is. It's similar, there's some similarities there. It has to do with the quality of something. When something has high merit, an evaluation based on performance is an English way of thinking about this. A meritorious person is honest and trustworthy. But merit, what we're doing when we talk about generating merit, it's almost like energy in a sense. It's almost it's like quasi-tangible. And when you meet somebody who has been doing deep practice, you can experience their merit. Tomorrow, we'll have people coming in who haven't been sitting sesshin, and they'll come in and they'll experience your practice. You're giving off merit, in a sense, through your practice. When you practice deeply like this, this building has been a center for Dharma for, when's the 50th year anniversary? We should have a big celebration then.
Well, this building was 91 when they purchased it.
Oh, when they purchased it. Okay, so 91. So
The Zen Center's
anyone?
been around
Almost 50 years. Still, we'll have to have a 50th year. But yeah, the building, so 91, 2001, 2011, over 30 years of Dharma activity here. The walls are seeping with merit. So people want to come to the Zen Center because it kind of has a field of merit. There's a field of merit here, and people, what do you do with merit? You have joy. You come here and you experience the joy of people's practice for decades now. And when you go to an Asian country, man, do you experience the merit there. You go see a temple that's been around for hundreds of years, right? You go to China or Japan and you go to a temple that's been around for hundreds of years, and you're just swimming in the merit. It's a field of merit, just swimming in it. Wow, all the Dharma, all the practice that those walls are exuding, you get to feel it. And the people that have passed away, that have been practicing there and dedicating their energy to practice for the sake of nothing. Right? And we revel in nothing because we got everything here. We've got everything we could possibly desire. We're alive. Right? We talked about this yesterday. I mean, how precious is life? You go just to our neighbor just a few million miles away, Mars, and there's no life there. All right? You go the other direction to Venus, and if you went there, you couldn't even breathe. The atmosphere is toxic. And Mercury, it's so hot in the day and freezing cold at night. Never mind the gaseous planets. Zero life. There's just this Earth right here. Just this Earth, in this solar system, there's just this Earth that we have where life has evolved to this extent. It's amazing. Do we want something more than that? Our greedy selves, our deluded selves, our bampu, the deluded self, thinks it's missing something, right? And we don't know if there's life outside of this particular galaxy. We don't know if there's another planet in the galaxy that holds life, or maybe of the billion galaxies in the universe that we are aware of, if there's any life. There's chances that seem pretty high when you think about it in terms of billions, seems pretty high, but we can't get in we don't have the Starship Enterprise yet, right? We can't travel at light speed yet, right? So we're not there. We just don't know. And think of all the space that's around us. Just incredible. Millions and billions of miles of space. Here we are. Wow. So if we what we're doing when we are generating merit, I think the thing is that we are giving the merit up. We're letting it go. We're not holding on to it. When we generate merit, it's not for us. It's to highlight the ordinariness of this existence. It's to highlight it and make it special. That's what ritual does. That's what Zazen does. We're highlighting the ordinariness. That's what merit is doing. And by giving it up, by letting go of it, that's when those Christmas trees lights light up. But if you hold on to it, it's like when one light on the Christmas tree works, but all the rest don't. You got to share it. Merit doesn't light up unless you share it. And that's what Bodhidharma was, I think, maybe another way of talking about with Emperor Wu. That's what he was trying to say to him. You got to share. The merit isn't for you. This is my interpretation of this, right? The merit isn't for you, Emperor Wu. You've got to let it go. You've lost your merit. You've given it up. That's what our practice is about, letting go of what we've generated. So just to look at these characters here, just to get a sense of it in the Chinese, there's two kanji. There's two characters. One is ku, and the other is doku. You put ku next to toku, and it's pronounced doku. In the Chinese, it's te or de, and it's the same character as in the Tao Te Ching, the de. And it's translated as virtue, toku or doku. Translated as virtue, merit, power. Right? Power might be a good one. Power. The other one, ku, literally means the left side that looks like an eye there means construction. Like construction, you think of like an I-beam. Construction, and then the right side is for power or strength. So you put those two together, and the translation is effort, merit, good result, patient dedication, wisdom achieved through refined work. These are all possible translations of that one Chinese character. The one on the right now, doku, has been translated as virtue, merit, power. Here's another one. Learning to become good, or a fully developed human being is someone who has virtue, a fully developed human being. We could also equate it with becoming Buddha, becoming a Buddha. So someone who has become a Buddha has virtue, right? Has this virtue. The thing is that this virtue, toku, can be increased or decreased depending on our activities, depending on our karma, our actions, what we do with our life. Going to sesshin is a big boost to your virtue. It's a big boost to it. You're generating virtue and practicing Zazen and reciting sutras and coming to the Dharma center. That's what we're doing. And another aspect of toku is it's also based on aligning ourselves with the cosmos, right? I've talked before about getting our antennas lined up to hear the Dharma. So, but another aspect of this word toku has to do with Chinese culture, and that is, an emperor would be very concerned about toku, about virtue. And I wonder if this isn't why Emperor Wu asks directly about this virtue. I asked at the beginning, why did Emperor Wu, why was he so concerned about his virtue? Why was he so concerned about virtue? Well, in Chinese culture, especially in that time, an emperor had to lead with what's called the mandate of heaven. You had to have the mandate of heaven in order to be a good ruler. To have the mandate of heaven meant that the country was in order, that there was harmony amongst the people. There wasn't chaos. There was no famines or wars taking place. And the people were generally happy. And that was an indication that an emperor was ruling with the mandate of heaven. And that emperor had virtue. So it was a big deal for an emperor to rule with virtue, because it meant that they would not be deposed. If they didn't have virtue, it meant that they were going to be deposed. They were vulnerable to being deposed by their own people. So you can sense, like, Bodhidharma says to Emperor Wu, there's no virtue. You've generated zero virtue in doing this. You can understand he would be a little bit concerned about that, maybe confused by it too. He thought he was doing something good. And meanwhile, he may have thought, oh, what did I do wrong? Am I going to get deposed by my people? Right? You know, because for him, it may be that he could have interpreted it as loss of power. Also a translation of this virtue, a loss of power. An emperor wants to be able to have some degree of control over people. But the thing we have to remember, Emperor Wu gets over this, and he realizes later that he misunderstood what Bodhidharma was saying. But the thing that I think we have to keep in mind is that the merit that we generate is never for ourselves. It's never for ourselves. We generate it and then we let it go. We might be the recipients of it for a little bit, but it's for other people. Right? We let it go, and then it highlights the Dharma. It makes what is ordinary sacred. And in that case, everything is sacred. Right? When you let go of your merit, then everything is holy. Bodhidharma says nothing is holy. Right? That's another way of saying everything. Everything is holy. Everything. Thank you.